Hi.
Hi.
I am so happy you're here.
I'm happy to be here. Hi.
So this is fun.
Yes.
And I've never had to start over.
You just rolled every other
Yes. Did I do it?
I have
Is it
never,
me?
I am a one-take wonder.
Yes. Is that true?
Absolutely.
I believe
I
it.
never stop. I don't hiccup.
Is it me?
Absolutely.
How are you? Do you want me to, do you want me to ask you?
Yes.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
Really? How are you?
Well, there's a lot.
All right, good.
There's a lot. I mean, the kids
Yeah.
and the husband and the work. And
Yeah.
everything.
They're still around.
They are.
Bring it back. Just bring it back.
Joey,
Yes.
I'm so happy you're here.
I'm happy to be here.
It's been a while since we've had you here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've been busy.
Yes.
Today, when I was thinking about talking to you and thinking about the timeline of our relationship and from the beginning until the current, there is a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, and it wasn't until recently I was talking to somebody who's here, and they were like, "Oh, do you know me from the HuB?" And I wanted to be like, "Do you know me from the HuB?" and she didn't, and I was like, "Oh, wow."
Oh.
So it's been too long, I think, since I've been here that I was like, "Oh no, I was there."
You know what? So that's perfect. I'm going to go ahead and segue straight into that. How does that make you feel? Because you are the core of what made the HuB. And I don't know if you know this, but we've been talking about it, not every day, but every day we talk about it. This is our 10-year anniversary.
Oh,
We're going to
crap.
be 10 years old.
Wow.
And I know that you don't feel like you're 10 years older, but
I do a little bit.
No.
Things are falling and getting gray.
But no, I mean, I can't believe it when I think about that, and I think about everything that we've done and we continue to do for individuals, for the community, for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot of, I mean, there is an archive of greatness,
Yeah.
of awesomeness, right?
And
Isn't
you know,
it-
you see it when they're like on this day, so many years ago, on this day, when those things
My
pop up
favorite
through
thing on
social media.
Facebook.
Me too. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're kidding me. And then when you see it was like, that was 8 years ago.
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
cannot believe it. So how does that make you feel when someone says, you know, do you know me from the HuB? And they're like, no. Like, what do you have to do with the HuB?
It makes me feel like it's like a whole nother chapter. Like we just turn the page on another chapter. And at first it makes me feel a little sad because I'm like, how do you not know that? How do you not know that I was part of the HuB?
Yeah.
But then, you know,
Pivotal part of it.
it's kind of like, I think when you go back to college and it's the same professors, but all the students are different. And you're kind of like,
Well, you're
okay.
alumni.
No, I'm an old dude or something, but yeah.
You're alumni. I talked about that. We just actually had somebody here, and we were talking about how the HuB, for me, does resemble that university feel because we get to have that influx of new HuBsters per se, but we still get to play with all the old HuBsters.
Yeah.
And we get to sort of collaborate on so many different things, and I love that. All right, so taking that timeline, I think one of the best stories is how you found your way to us and then what we were able to create through that time.
Yeah.
And I would imagine that you would agree that it's shaped you, me, everybody into who we are today.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Right?
And there isn't a day that goes by or that I don't have a moment of going, oh wow, whatever I'm doing now, I learned to do while I was at the HuB.
Really?
Or constantly, I'll encounter people and they're like, oh, I met you at the HuB. I met you at the HuB. I met the HuB. So
That's nice.
So even when there's that occasional person, it's like, I don't know who you are, and
Yeah.
that it's still like, okay, there's enough reality.
So we're probably going to need to put a picture of you up somewhere.
I know.
It's
I
time.
mean, I thought you just moved the entire wall from the other building.
The wall, the stairwell. I know we're working on getting one in here.
Oh, good.
So how do you think, I mean, I don't know, for those people that don't know who you are, shame on you. But for those of you that know Joey, Joey, I mean, you've been a huge advocate in the community, especially with promoting the arts, local arts, and anything media related, and it's what you love to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I still think back at the Sarasota Elf and the Art Whisperer and things like that were just so
Yeah.
much fun. But how has all of that sort of led you to where you are today, and did it at all play a role in that? I mean, it seems like it did based on what you just said.
Absolutely. I mean, just knowing that I could do things that I wanted to do was something that I learned to do at the HuB with all of you. And even the first day I came in, I thought, well, is there a job opening?
Right.
And Matt said, no, you'll just come in and create what you want to do. And I was like, oh, I don't understand that model. That doesn't make sense to me. But funny though, the time I was at the HuB and then when I transitioned out and went to other jobs, I kept thinking like, oh, okay, well, when I get to these other jobs, things will be more structured. Thinking like, you know, when the openness of the HuB and everything, I'm going to be leaving that to go to things where everything is very clear and what everyone does is very clear and clear. No, not even a bit. So it was great to be able to pull out of my bag of tricks that I learned at the HuB, like, okay, if you want something done, you make it happen.
You make it happen. And I think one of the things that I can't speak for everyone, but for me, one of the things that it has taught me, and I don't know that and I'll be very, very transparent, I don't know that I learned it from the HuB, but I know that it ran parallel with the HuB. But for me, it was more like motherhood because it's about shifting gears. You know, when I hear people say that, you know, I can't do this or that's not how I was taught, it's just about figuring out how to shift gears. When there's an opportunity that, you know, that presents itself, understanding how to just go with it and running with it and making it something that's amazing and powerful. And it's not always a home run. I mean, that's not all the time, but if it, you know, it can be.
Yeah.
We've seen that happen so many times.
And then not just in what you do, but in how other people are affected. Like if we look back at those first couple years, you know, when I came in bringing this love of arts, and then we did a lot with the arts. The HuB as a group did a lot with the arts.
So
Lucas
much.
came in with this amazing experience making video and doing television and production, and then we were doing more video.
Yeah.
David came in with his music background, and then there was, you know, music was influenced in everything we do. So you don't know it at the time, but you're like, you not only shaped your own path at the HuB, you kind of shaped the HuB as a ship. You know, you steered it a little bit.
That's the thing. I mean, when I think about the core of, you know, the foundation that this was built on and sustained for so long, I mean, I can't imagine someone not knowing you for that.
Oh, yeah. I definitely think I was more fun when I was at the HuB.
We all
Yeah.
were more fun 10 years ago.
Yeah, well, we were younger.
We're still at the HuB, but we're pretty fun.
You all are still fun.
We are pretty fun.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like sometimes I feel like the
she's real
sellout
fun.
that came in, that's coming
She's
in.
real fun. She's
yeah.
taking the place of like 3 people.
She's too fun. She needs to dial it back.
She's back there laughing. But no, I mean, so what advice would you give to someone who maybe doesn't have any of that history? They're sort of like, they're all over the place right now. You know, they know what they want to do. They know what they feel like doing, but they're just not sure how to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you design a life? And we all say it, right? Live the life you love. You know, don't be a dreamer, be a doer. What does that mean?
Well, I think show up, you know, like show up physically, get in the space, be with other people.
Yeah, I
show
tell
up.
people that every day.
And then show up, you know, with your motivation, your drive, and your passion every day. The thing that I think is magical about the HuB, and I feel it because I'm gone from it, but I feel it when I come back in, is like when you're at the HuB, you don't have to wait to do something. It's not like, okay, well, one day I'm going to write a book, or one day I'm going to make a video, or I'm going to start doing daily videos. It's like, it just happens. And it's hard when you get out of here because you do fall. I do catch myself falling back into, all right, well, one day I'm going to design that life that I want to live, or one day I'm going to work on this creative project. You fall into that, one day it'll happen. And when you're in here, I think everybody, you all inspire each other. Everyone inspires each other. Like, just do it. You want to do it? Do it.
We do. I mean, like Micah and I were talking yesterday about some of the things that I wanted to do, and she was like, let's do it. You know, and I love that. And there is no wait time. There is no, you know, we don't have to wait for approval or go through any type of layers of bureaucracy to make sure that we're getting validated for what we want to do. I mean, we do have to accept failure because that comes with it sometimes when you jump.
And don't wait for someone else to do it. I realized there were a lot of, I relive a lot of my professional journey while I was here, and I was waiting for someone to go, okay, here's the template, now you can do it.
Right.
And I would change that if I could do it differently.
How would you change it?
I would have just jumped when a project presented itself that I wanted to do, I would have just done it.
Just done it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that. I mean, I think that still happens a lot today. I mean, people are constantly looking for, I don't know if it's validation, but certainly assurance, reassurance,
Yeah, like you
approval.
don't need to knock on every single door here and go, hey everyone, is it okay if I write this blog, or is it okay if I film this video? Is everyone cool with that, on board? Like, no.
Right.
Just
and
do it.
One of the coolest things about this space, I love this new space so much. It's intimate, and it's such a great group of people. And when we have the ability to work as a focus group, because even though there's a group, into the co-working space and, the tenants and all of that make up what the community is, everyone is still working independently. They're all independent business owners. And so one of the coolest things is when one of those people has to go and present something, maybe, and it's larger than, the scope of it is just bigger than they are at this point. And when you're so in something, you're so close to it, it's really difficult to be critical of it or to even see the good in it sometimes.
Yeah.
And so that's what I love. I think that's one of the biggest values of the community is being able to springboard off of those other members to say, all right, I did write this blog, or I am writing this book. Can I just share a little bit with you? Can you give me that constructive criticism that I'm longing for, and I don't have anywhere to get it?
Yeah.
Because I don't work in this big corporation with all of these co-workers, but ironically, you do have all these co-workers.
And this space, I think, is the best of all of the different buildings that the
I've
HuB has
heard
been in
that.
before. Because in the first space, it was like that warehouse and everything was open, and I couldn't not know that you were working on a book or something because
Right.
I could hear you. Like literally, you were doing it within feet from me. And then we kind of separated a little in the next two spaces. So this seems to like bring it all back. Unless you have a loud talker on the phone, in that case, that would be a problem.
It's so interesting because obviously it's quiet now because we're filming, but on an average day when it's filled with people, it's still it's a perfect noise level.
Yeah.
Everyone it just works. I think people just know how to be courteous of the space. And the whole co-working thing now, where before, 10 years ago, it was like, what do you mean? We just work in this big open warehouse. Where now people get it.
Yeah.
It's definitely a coffee shop demographic that's looking for a more professional setting that still allows them to be part of a community. So it's really cool.
And when people come into this space, I think sometimes if I could give advice to anybody, like stop your work for a minute because that might be your next great asset,
Oh,
a lot of times
absolutely.
I'd be like, oh, I'm in the middle of my masterpiece.
Yes.
I don't want to stop and talk to someone
Yes,
new.
but
Hi.
introduce yourself to the people. I know there's some of the coolest people in this space, and I always say to be careful, you're missing an opportunity. Everybody has something to offer. Everybody has a story.
Yeah.
And I think once we give people the time to tell it, the Cliff Note version, of course.
Yeah. I mean, if they're going to take up
If
an
you
hour,
want
the
to tell
first
more,
seat.
write the book.
Yeah. That's what locks
or
are
make
for,
the
locked
movie,
into.
but not now, not here. Cliff Notes, and then from there, I think it's important to you take that information, and it just helps you humanize that other individual that you now become sort of invested in. And I think that that's the most important part of the community.
Yeah.
Is just seeing people for who they are and supporting what they're doing.
Think of the people that, in the HuB's history, we would have missed out on if
Right.
you still had that attitude of like, no, I'm working, leave me alone.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, there are probably some that
There's some that actually I
There are
wish we
some
would
that
have.
that we would
Just
have.
kidding.
We should have closed the garage door on, but you know what?
HuB's
that
closed.
also helped us too.
It's true. Every
It
single
is
person
true.
that came through, it sounds cliche, but it is true.
So what do you have a favorite memory, something that stands out, something that you can go back to that just is like, man, that was one of the best times or one of the most pivotal times, or what is that? I mean, there's a big archive there for you to have to sift through.
that's tough. I mean, there's more feelings of like, I guess it was like when we would all go as a group and do big projects,
Yeah.
and then later find out that no one knew what they were doing.
No.
Like that still makes me laugh.
You know who tells? When I think about that, the first person that comes to mind is Christine Alexander, and because she used to always say, anytime Rich would ask me to do something, I would wait 24 to 48 hours before attempting anything. Right?
Yep.
And I would say, why? And she goes, because within 24 to 48 hours, he would shift gears.
Yes.
And he would tell me to do something totally
Like,
different.
I need you to get fluent in Mandarin. And so then you like go invest yourself, and 2 years in, and then he's like, oh no, we're not doing that
Why are
anymore.
you learning Mandarin?
Exactly,
I
like,
told
oh,
you to go
I'm
find
sorry.
a graffiti artist
Exactly.
to paint the outside of a bus. And
You're
she
like,
was
"Oh,
like,
I'm
but
so
you
sorry."
didn't. And so she would catch on to that pattern. So anytime we were working in a group, she's like, I'm not doing anything for the next 2 days.
That's brilliant. Although don't let her fool you, she just didn't want to do anything for the
Which
next
is
2
fine,
days.
which is totally
That's
she
hysterical.
earned that right.
Yes.
She earned that privilege.
But like going to the Breakers for that event,
Oh
and
my
even
gosh,
though I
that was
was not
fun.
privy to this exact conversation, but hearing Lucas say like he and Rich basically had an entire like awards show worth of production pieces, and like Rich is like opening a manual and trying to like plug things in. I think that's
And I remember
hysterical.
saying, do we know how to do this? And they were like, nope.
Yeah.
And I said, are we doing it? They're like, absolutely. And we pulled it off seamlessly.
Yes, there was. This maybe isn't the memory that I would want to choose, but it keeps coming up.
But it's going to be the one you're going to say so the viewers remember
When
it.
someone took a big shit outside of the first HuB and there was human feces outside.
Wait.
That was not a great memory.
Was it the first HuB? Because I remember specifically.
Oh, it was between the first HuB and
it
the
was
second
at the
HuB.
Fruitville location. Because I got a text that morning from Christine Nordstrom.
Oh no, this was over in the first one at the Rosemary District. It was after
Between the buildings.
after
between the
vinyl.
buildings.
Yeah, and I'm pretty certain
So
it was
that's
human
happened
feces.
twice.
Yeah, well,
That's
some
happened
things
twice.
are worth
I
repeating.
woke up one morning getting ready for work, and Christine Nordstrom, who's also, we love her so much. She's done so much cool stuff with 5-0 and SIFT and all that. But I get a picture from her because her cafe was in our second location, or third location, I suppose. And she said, this is what's outside my door. And I thought, well, that's awesome. That means that somebody validated that. Now you are actually
It's full circle.
a destination.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
That's awesome. What would you say some of the challenges were that, those times where you just feel like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing? Yeah, I'm having fun, but am I doing anything?
It was all the times I think of like learning things that I didn't want to know how to
I hate
do,
doing that.
or I didn't want to have to do, but that
Yeah.
were essential. Like,
Right.
designating time to things that paid money, that brought in money. That was not always my strong
the
suit.
work part,
Yes.
and having to
Weren't there enough
be
people
held,
doing that?
be held accountable for
couldn't-
deadlines.
Yeah, that part was tough.
Yeah.
Well, like the business side of being creative. I still don't love that part, but I think I've gotten better at it, but I don't love it.
Yeah.
But it was those times of having
Well,
to
most
learn those
creatives
lessons.
don't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they just want to be creative.
Yeah, I'm like,
and
just
that
put
is
me
very
in my corner
yeah.
and let me do my art. Don't make me have to like bill people and chase them.
What do you think the next chapter for you looks like? I mean, what should people get excited about?
That's a good question. I don't know.
The
I
book,
really
the
don't
movie, the
know.
blog,
I used to think that I knew because I was like, okay, we're one step closer to Oprah status, which is my dream.
Well, I think you've surpassed her.
But
obviously.
that like path doesn't exist anymore. So I don't know yet. I'm not sure.
A lot of people don't know that you were an actor
Yeah.
in New York,
Yeah.
theater actor.
I was an actor for a long time.
You love improv.
And I would love to go back to that at some point, but I'm not 100% certain. But I'll be honest, with the exception of a few key projects that I probably won't talk about, I think I've been pretty good about like, all right, I'll just learn to do it. I'll do it. So whatever it is, I'm sure that I'll do it.
You will do it.
And I hope I'll do it well, but I don't know yet.
That's exciting.
I think it's going to be everything, a little bit of everything that was brought together into that next thing.
I love it.
Or it's a baking show on Netflix.
That seems
can't
like
bake.
the easiest path to
I
go
don't need to.
nowadays.
Mhm.
You can do anything you want. You nailed it.
Nailed
Hashtag
it.
you nailed
Yes.
it, Joey. I love you.
We're trending. I love you too.